Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert. Welcome back to the TED Show. I'm excited to have this super uber talented young artist on the show. It's Esteban Ruiz. Did I say it right, Esteban? I
Yeah,
probably
yeah, yeah.
put way too much accent on there.
No,
He is an artist, a creative. You can see he's sitting between two beautiful pieces. I'm assuming he's filming this with me at the Mills Gallery, so I got to give a shout out to Boris, who always
yep.
introduces me to the most amazing artists on the planet. Welcome, Esteban. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm really good. Actually, thank you. How are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you very much. I've been excited since I met you to do this interview because I love your energy. I love a young creative because sky's the limit. You've got this canvas that's wide open, and you can write your own story, and you have a lot of story to write. And I want to get just a little bit of background on you. Tell me, how did you get into the fashion industry?
Yeah. First of all, thank you for having me on your show. But it kind of started about like a year and a half ago when my dad got me a sewing machine. I'm really grateful that he got me because after I got the sewing machine, I started getting into upcycling. I don't know if you know what that is.
I do not. So please explain for us older people.
Yeah, it's like a form of design, like fashion design, where you like take like old clothing that you could find like at a Goodwill or anything, or even in like the back of your closet, and you cut up the clothes, you can like paint on them, pretty much like do really whatever you want, and then you make like a new pair of clothes with that with the clothes that have already been made, pretty much, and that's upcycling.
Very cool. So how did you know that you wanted to always know that you wanted to be in fashion? Is that something that you've just known from an early age, and then the sewing machine was the catalyst to get you in?
In a way, yeah. There was like back in my childhood, I always tried to like be a little bit stylish with my clothing. There's only like I couldn't really like be that stylish because I was a kid, but it was always a little bit there. And then once I got my sewing machine, I realized like I could make my own clothes and I wouldn't have to buy other people's clothes, and that's like really what started it for me.
I love that. First of all, that's genius. And you obviously knew from the beginning that you looked at fashion differently. I wish
Mm.
there were more young creatives, and there are. We have a lot of young creatives here
Yeah, yeah.
in town. What is different about your designs from everybody else's? How would you separate yourself, or how would you say that you are different from the other young creatives that are in the fashion world?
I definitely say it's has to do with my upcycling because I've like looked into the fashion industry a lot, and there's actually like it's really big for pollution and all that, and fast fashion actually like it's like really bad for the environment too. Like they'll create like cheap versions of clothing that like celebrities would see, or even like that are like high end brands, and they just create these like cheap versions really fast, and people wear them like once or twice, and then they'll literally just throw it away. And so what I'm like hoping with my upcycling, since I use clothes that have already been worn and made, like I'm kind of helping with pollution a little bit, and
Trying to
just
trying to leave less of a footprint, as they say. Trying
yeah,
to be
yeah.
less of a footprint. It's fascinating to me because I think a lot of people go and they will. I know a lot of friends. I won't name them or call them out, but they shop at
Mhm.
places like Goodwill because there are some
Yeah,
beautiful clothes there. So do you take that? Do you take that piece of clothing, for example, and then do you add some fabric to it? Do you repurpose it, or is it a combination of that?
yeah. It's literally like a combination of like what honestly whatever I can think of. I'll like go to Goodwill, and I'll just like I'll like find a piece of clothing that I really like, and then I'll just kind of look at it and see like what can I make out of this, or if I can add this to something else. And usually you don't even have to really change the piece of clothing. You could just literally just stitch it on to something else, or like or paint on it. But yeah, it's yeah.
I love the painting part. I think that's very creative. I can't wait for people to see your work. And while before I ask my next question, I want people to know that Esteban's Instagram is scrolling across the bottom there, but I've also tagged it in the post for this. Tell me about Daniel Chimowitz.
Oh yeah.
Chimowitz. Mr. Daniel, I've had him on the show. Again, he's another introduction thanks to Boris. He is a colorful, amazing artist.
Yeah.
So how did you all meet? How did you all come into contact?
Actually, I met him at Bill's Gallery here with Boris. He actually introduced me to him, and after getting to talk to him, we really liked each other, and he actually invited me to Miami Art Basel to prepare some of my clothing. When I got to model in my own clothing too, which was like really cool. It was an amazing experience. But yeah, and then we've just got along really well. Like Daniel's a really cool guy. He showed me around Miami too, and even like Miami Art Basel, just all the kinds of art that's there. And
it's a beautiful place. That Art Basel is amazing, and Daniel's such a creative too. And I've worn one of his jackets before.
I think speaking of video with that you did with Chimowitz.
Yes, I did. Yes, it was an experience, an awesome experience, and that's why I love working with creatives. Tell me about you talked about the pollution, trying to leave less of a footprint. Talk about community though, because community is super important to you. How do you help? How do you give back?
Yeah, actually, my dream actually is to work with the Zebra Coalition. I actually live right down the street, but it's like LGBTQ kids that like they've been kicked out of their homes just for the simple fact that they're LGBTQ, and so like what I want to do is like donate like handheld sewing machines so that I could like teach them how to maybe upcycle too, or like make their own clothes, and like hopefully help them become more independent, because they're like having their own kind of struggles, and I guess it could help them maybe get them into the design world too.
Did you grow up in a household where giving back was important? Where does the giving back part come? Where does your giving back part come from?
I actually like to give back a lot because I feel like a lot of people have helped me, and so I kind of want to like give back and like do the same in return for other people. Even if they haven't helped me, I want to help them first if I can.
I think that's so important, and it's such a great thing to be able to combine the artistry and your fashion and giving back, because you would be giving those kids those people at Zebra, they are kids, an opportunity to do something on their own and create their own path, like you have created. What's your ultimate goal? Where do you want to be? Do you want to have your own big fashion line in a big store? Do you want to travel the world and go to all of the fashion shows, or be part of New York Fashion Week, Paris Fashion Week, all that good stuff? What's the long-term goal for you?
I guess the long-term goal is to be, like world-renowned designer. But I want to I guess I would want to be big enough to the point where like I can help other people. And yeah, traveling the world for sure. I mean, if I can travel the world and also help people at the same time in other countries, that would be the dream come true, where I could just be helping people and I guess helping myself too,
What's your next project? Are you working on for clothing lines? I'm always fascinated by this. Do you have a particular type of clothes? Like Daniel's obviously known for his jackets. He's got jackets. Do you have a particular type of clothes that you focus on? Are you trying to build, is it men, women, indifferent? Describe your fashion line to us a little bit.
I'd say my fashion line is, right now it's mostly for men, but I'm definitely going to look into making female clothes and all that. But right now I've kind of just made clothes for myself. It's like I'll just upcycle my own clothes, make them for myself. So it is men's clothes. But I guess the way to describe my clothes is kind of like streetwear, upcycle streetwear, kind of like an avant-garde, like dystopian look to my clothes. And yeah, really it's just, that's how I describe my clothes. I just want people to feel good in my clothes too. So yeah.
Primarily shirts, pants, jackets, or you do all of the above?
Jackets, pants. I have made a couple shirts, and Yeah, right now it's just jackets and pants, I'd say, mostly. That's what I like making the most. It's kind of, I guess, the easiest for me to make. And yeah.
I think it's amazing that I've never worked on a sewing machine, but I love that story because I think it's you just never know. It's like when a kid gets handed a guitar, and all of
Yeah.
a sudden they're a musical prodigy. You're a fashion prodigy because you
Thank
got
you.
handed that sewing machine and you just took off. And isn't that amazing that you want to give that back to other people? I think that's a beautiful thing. All right, Esteban, tell them the best way that they can find you. How can they reach you? How can they learn more about what you're doing and all the good stuff you're doing in the fashion world?
Yeah, you can go to my Instagram for my clothing account. It's Umbre, but it's spelled URNBRE. You can look at the name. You can see that the R and E make an M. It's kind of like a little like creative thing I try to do.
Love it.
But yeah, that's my Instagram, and I have my website I'm still working on, but it's umbreshop.com. But yeah, I mean, that's where, if you want to find my work, that's where you can find all of it.
Love it. You're an inspiration, my friend. I love it. I love everything that you're doing. And I think I definitely want to encourage you to continue to do it. I love the give back part. I think that's so important. And I want more people to see your fashion. So we'll have to talk about that. I'd love to debut some of that on the
Yeah.
show. But yes, please reach out to Esteban's Instagram is scrolling across the bottom there. I'll also tag him in the post below, in the comments below, so you all can reach out to him. What a joy to have you on, Esteban.
Yeah.
Keep going. I'm very inspired by you and what you want to do with your gift. So thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And I forgot to mention something, but Daniel Chimowitz is actually going to be having a show here at Mills Gallery in July, and he's actually going to have me as the guest designer too. So if anybody wants to, like see some of my work, they can if they come. Free show.
I love that. So I'll put the gallery's website and tag the gallery too, so they can look up that information. That's awesome. All right, Esteban, thank you so much. You love to support the creatives. Get out and support Esteban. Find out what he's up to and what he's doing and what he wants to do for our community. And then, of course, I would love for you to figure out how to incorporate what he's doing into your fashion world. All right, we'll see everybody later. Thank you, Esteban.